What's up, y'all? So I decided not to sit on this. I decided not to wait till it's perfect, not to wait till the day I finally get it edited and, all of the things. This message is important, it's timely, it's for yesterday. That's how urgent it's needed. And I mean, it really can't wait. There's no other way to say it besides I'm about to read to you my very first book, and I hope you like it. I hope you get something out of it. Please feel free to share, like. If you don't like, and I'm pretty sure there might be something in here you disagree with, just feel free to leave a comment. But without further delay, I'm gonna share with you some of my book, the beginning a little bit. Bound by Faith. Sacred Lies versus Lived Truths. Written and narrated by yours truly, Goddess T. Marie. Now, I'm going to be loose with it, but you're going to get the juice with it, okay? Preface. I will start this off by defining a term that I have heard here and there while growing up called patriarchy. According to Wikipedia, patriarchy is a social system in which men typically hold authority and responsibility. In anthropology, it refers to a family or a clan structure where the father or eldest male holds supremacy within the family. While in feminist theory, it encompasses a broader social structure where men collectively dominate societal norms and institutions. Also, while writing this book and listening to captivating YouTube interviews, I came across the following quote made by Billy Carson as a guest on Brandy Harvey's show Vault Empowers. In reference to the Bible, he says the following around the 9-minute mark. I just can't believe that this book is 100% about the creator of this universe. I believe that there is a God. Let me preface this. I believe that there is a God, and I believe that God exists. I think that the quantum physics proves that we are living in a creation and that we are all imbued with the divine energy and frequency, which I believe it can be used for good or used for bad. But I also believe that the entity being written about in some of these texts is written by men and orchestrated by men and remixed by men in order for men to implement and put their foot on the necks of others for various different reasons, whatever their agenda is. End quote. Y'all like my man voice? I added emphasis on the word men because this is exactly who I want to blame. Men manipulating the scriptures to fit their own twisted plans for women. Introduction. Hi, I'm Goddess Marie, here to set you servants free. Wow, that sounded better in my head. But it's the exact sentiment I have towards the dear women who have picked up this book, or in this case, tune into this Audible edition, to find some sort of solace in their turbulent marriages or intimate partner relationships. I'm offering understanding and hopefully some viewpoints on the Bible's agenda for us that will create some doubt that all these words directed to us women aren't all given with the purest and holiest of intentions. Isn't that what we are told? That all scripture is for our highest good? I'm getting ahead of myself here. You readers and listeners and lurkers need to know that I am just a regular girl, not a Bible scholar. Not that a regular girl couldn't be a Bible scholar. I forfeited college in exchange for marrying my high school sweetheart, but that was after I carried my first unexpected pregnancy to term, thereby making us teenage parents before ever graduating high school. I call it my unplanned pregnancy versus our unplanned pregnancy because right outside of my delivery room, as I was being prepared to give birth by cesarean section, that my 16-year-old boyfriend told my best friend that he got me pregnant on purpose. So, I won't pretend to be more than I am. I don't have the theology degree, but I did go to the school of hard knocks, where I took a crash course in motherhood and wifehood for an impressive almost 20 years. I have had time to apply biblical cures to my marriage, with no other notable success aside from our 10 children, time passed, and the approval of outsiders that didn't have a clue to the enormous amount of emotional and mental strain I was under. And of course, my hard-earned wisdom. In this book, we will explore popular marriage scriptures from the Bible to see how they have manipulated us to accept moldy breadcrumbs instead of the delicious, fulfilling, and nourishing fresh bread loaf with butter on top and jam on the side. How has the Bible manipulated us women to accept less than our birthrights in marriage? I believe our birthrights are respect, peace in our own bodies and homes, as well as the right to have our own opinion and voice them, not to mention the two main duties of a husband that get repeated over and over, provide and protect, but somehow don't seem to get carried out in an effective way. As women, so much of these basic rights have been compromised under the banner of being a good, submissive wife in a Christian marriage. I believe we all have free will, but how much of our choices are pre-selected and predetermined based on a religious path we have been conditioned to follow since childhood? The majority of us who have had our religion chosen for us grew up believing that in order to be accepted, we had to be ride or die, in it for better or worse, virtuous pick-me women. In this book, we will examine the underbelly of these popular directives to married women that have kept some of us mentally chained in a living hell. The goal of this mini book is to shed light on the sacred shackles that keep religious women in bad marriages. It may seem far-fetched to believe that some women are still taking these words to heart and tailoring their lives to scriptures, but I assure you that they exist. I was just there. By the end of this book, I wish for every religious woman to re-examine the scriptures and determine if it's truly the life she wants or the life Holy Doctrine brainwashed her to settle for. After all, true feminism is not an obnoxious woman screaming she don't need no man while having disheveled hair, suffering from hairy facial warts, and losing the fight with morbid obesity. It is simply women knowing that they have options. In fact, all feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. Let's jump right in the cold deep end. Chapter 1. The commandment to be fruitful and multiply. Lo, children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath a quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate. Psalms 127, 3 and 5. I just realized it didn't say happy is the woman. It said happy is the man. Okay, add a little beside. Okay, ladies, let's get into this. First, let me tell you, I have always wanted a big family. Ask any of my immediate family and friends, and they'll agree that I wanted 10. I literally spoke this out loud to them. By the time we were married, I had 1 son and 2 in the oven. After that, I got an IUD called the Mirena for birth control. It actually worked. Those almost 5 years that I was on it, I was perfectly content with the 3 until the twins were nearing the age of 4. The age in which they would be going off to school. As a stay-at-home mom, I felt my job was in jeopardy if I didn't have any babies to justify me being at home. Around the same time, I came across some Christian blogs like Nancy Campbell's Above Rubies and Lori Alexander's that upheld the religious teachings of the Titus II women, and of having a quiver full of arrows to be raised and sharpened, to be of use in God's army. Reading their convictions reawakened the desire in me to fulfill my dreams of having as many children as God would bless me with. There was even a guy that had some great article titled 12 by 40 that really kicked my baby making years into overdrive. With 12 children by 40 years old as the goal, 4, 5, 6, 7 or more seemed like low numbers. I even mixed things up by having C-sections, VBACs, home births, then back to the hospital for my vacation and room service. I literally was getting my kicks however I could. I really could imagine myself pregnant again and again until I reached 10 or more. Conception, pregnancy, labor, and delivery were all relatively easy for me. I joked once on Facebook posts that some women like tattoo pain, but I like labor pain. That coupled with low morale at home, I guess I was kind of a agony enthusiast. Let me try that again. An agony enthusiast. There it is. An agony enthusiast. Okay, I got it out. Now, addicted to misery. I don't know. The babies came out so beautiful, healthy, and strong. Each one reinforced that my ex-husband and I made good-looking children. And it wasn't so bad, whatever I was going through in our marriage. Not that the children were used to keep my husband, but deep down somewhere in my subconscious, I just believed this was what was going to make our family stronger. Not true. No amount of additional mouths to feed will take care of a doomed marriage. I say doomed because eventually my self-preservation was bound to kick in at some point, right? Somehow the command to be fruitful and multiply got translated into have as many as possible. Not everyone drank that Kool-Aid. Regardless of whether it was religiously influenced or not, I genuinely enjoyed childbirth, motherhood, and nursing. I just think it is very suspicious that women would be encouraged to be baby-making factories when conception is a natural byproduct of the marriage bed anyway. And I'm sorry for the women that would like to conceive but have come against one obstacle after another in realizing this dream. But doesn't it seem like that a large amount of children will negatively affect the marriage? There is less time for one-on-one time with your spouse. The nights are interrupted by night feedings and other nightmarish interruptions, like pee-pee accidents that happen to dampen the morning breakfast routines. The man feels the weight of providing for a large brood, and the mother deals with the daily ups and downs, mostly on her own, and bad attitudes coming from a multitude of directions. Like everything in life, there are pros and cons. Ladies, weigh your options against what you know in your heart will work best for you and your husband. After all, it is your body, your choice. Chapter 2. The cost of conforming. Navigating the burden of societal expectations for women in relationships. We as girls were taught that we had the sugar, spice, and everything nice to tame those naughty boys made of snakes, snails, and puppy dog tails. We women have been taught from a young age that we have a unique power, a kind of patience and resilience that can soothe, soften, or even fix a difficult partner. Insert hard eye roll emoji here. The messages are often subtle but consistent. The way to win someone over is through kindness, unconditional support, and to quietly endure their shortcomings by turning a blind eye. At first, these lessons about how a good Christian wife may seem noble, even romantic. After all, love requires some measure of tolerance and understanding. 1 Corinthians 13:1. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. But in practice, these expectations put on women by the Bible and patriarchy often leaves women in situations where they sacrifice too much of themselves, and their unconditional love is not only unrequited and unreciprocated, but oftentimes exploited. Expectations of accommodation and nurturing. Our society often praises women for being nurturing, for having the strength to handle difficult personalities, and for finding creative ways to maintain harmony. Women in relationships with stubborn or emotionally unavailable partners are frequently advised to simply be more patient or more understanding, as if their patience and prayers alone can change the other person's behavior. They are told that their partner's reluctance to communicate, to fully commit, or to change the self-destructive patterns is a challenge they must overcome. On the other hand, when a woman is behaving poorly in the marriage, the same grace is not given. She is mocked, as in the following example. Proverbs 21:9. Better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. Or how about later in that same chapter, Proverbs 21:19. It is better to live in a desert land than with a contentious and irritating woman. How come the God of the man-written Bible didn't talk about how dangerous it is to live with one of them when they are having a bad day? The self-blame cycle. Here we go. When women are unable to break through to their partner, they are often left feeling as though they failed. The cultural narrative tells them that if they had just been nicer or chosen a better moment to communicate, maybe things would have gone differently. This is a form of self-blame that takes the blame off the partner's behavior and unfairly places it on the woman's approach. For example, a woman may think to herself, if I hadn't brought up that issue last night, maybe he wouldn't have been so distant today. This line of thinking makes it easy for women to fall into a spiral of second-guessing their actions, constantly evaluating their tone, their timing, and their choice of words. They start to believe that they hold the key to the relationship's success if only they could perfect their approach. But in truth, the real issue often lies with the partner who is unwilling to engage in meaningful change. We're getting ready to get to the last portion that I'm going to share with you all today. If you're still listening this far, please leave a like. Go ahead and share if you care. Leave a thumbs up. So let me know that this is good information and you want part 2. Okay, we'll share a little bit more. The myth of transformational love. Behind this pressure to be endlessly accommodating is a widespread, deeply ingrained belief that love can transform even the most challenging of partners. We've all seen the fairy tales and the films. The hard-hearted character who finally softens thanks to the endless kindness of their love interest, or should I say victim. While it's true that love can be a catalyst for positive growth, this expectation can be damaging when it's used to justify staying in a one-sided or disrespectful relationship. The reality is that love alone can't make a partner want to change, nor should it be a woman's duty to try to inspire change in someone who is unwilling. If a partner isn't motivated to improve their behavior independently, it is unlikely that an outpouring of patience and understanding will do the trick. In fact, remaining in a relationship in the hope of a future change often backfires because it signals to the other person that their behavior is acceptable, or at the very least, that there will be no immediate consequences for it. That's how, and I'm going to go off script and riff a little bit on it, because that's how women end up giving into sex when they don't want it, participating in their own marital rape We somehow believe that in rewarding their bad behavior, that will put them back on track somehow. It's really strange the way we were trained to do this, to have sex against our own will. You know, knowing that, he definitely didn't turn us on by stepping outside of the marriage, by cussing us out, by yelling and behaving like the big king baby, as one of my favorite YouTubers say. Shout outs to you. I can't think of your name right now, but if you know who I'm talking about, who says the king baby, leave it in the comments. But anyway, that's gonna be it for this edition. Please leave a comment, let me know what you think, and let me know if you're ready for part 2, because I definitely got some more of this medicine that we need. All right, take care. Bye.